Hello, Fearless Gamers, and welcome to another podcast here on Fearless Games. I'm Matt the Vet, and today I'm joined by...
James the Wildcard.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Not bad. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Some interesting stuff's going down the rumor pipeline, as it were, recently. First and foremost, there is a rumor. This is probably totally all wishful thinking and not actually going to happen, but there is rumor that Specialist Games is getting reformed by GW, and the first game that they're going to work on is Epic.
That'll be interesting.
Yep, it would be interesting. It would be nice to see the models look more like the Forge World counterparts, so it's not like, that's not a Reaver Titan. Click the Forge World site. That's a Reaver Titan. Type of thing. It would be interesting. I doubt that it's actually happening, but if it is, I hope they decide to give BFG a remake as well.
Yeah. Because
that would be fun, and they still owe me 3 ships. I ordered them almost 2 months before they dropped the whole project, and they never sent them. Those dirty, cheap, insert word I can't say on this family fun-friendly channel.
Yeah, right.
There's some rumors that Tyranids are going to be next on the line for 40k. Dark Elves are going to be the next Warhammer bit to happen.
You see, the Wood Elves have yet to get something. I checked their website. They have an old book. They really need to be updated. They have, 2.5 special characters and, nothing updated.
Really? So you're telling me they're the Sisters of Battle of the Warhammer universe?
Well, no, because they still have a codex or an army book.
Oh.
They're like the Black Templars were of the 40k universe. Next thing you know, the High Elves is going to have a section for the Wood Elves. I mean, real, because the Wood Elves were High Elves who stayed in the forest.
Uh-huh. Interesting. But that is interesting that they're kind of there's always that one codex.
Yeah.
That they kind of just shun.
I don't know why they shun the Wood Elves. I guess because they're like the 40k army of fantasy. I was listening to an old radio show about wargaming, and they were talking about the fantasy players making fun of 40k players, and one of them was a Wood Elf player. It's you're making fun of 40k, which can move in every direction and shoot in every direction, but you play the Wood Elves, a fantasy army that can, because being mostly skirmishers, can move in any direction, and they're big on shooting, and they can shoot in any directions. So what's your point? It's I don't see where you're going with this.
It is a shame, but it's a shame for all those that are a fan of the army, but at the same time, it seems to be that that's the direction that GW seems to be going with. The army that isn't selling as well as they want it to just gets ignored.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like it's a self-perpetuating thing because the army is old. Those tend to be the old armies that don't sell.
Yeah.
So they're old, so they don't get much exposure. They don't have much that's updated, so they're not as appealing. So then they don't update them. So then they become less appealing. And it's just if you just update them, people will look at it and go, hey now.
Well, but they should have a reason to update it. You should buy the crappy army so they have a reason to update it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know much about fantasy army, popularity, but I do recall seeing Wood Elves. I've never seen, and they updated, what is it, Ogres or whatever it is?
The Orcs?
No, the Ogre Kingdoms or something like that.
Oh, the Ogre Kingdom. Yes.
And I never thought them that popular. I've never seen them. I'm glad they got updated because they're kind of cool. But they got updated. But I've seen Wood Elves. When I've been to gaming stores, when I've seen fantasy games played, I've seen Wood Elves actually being played, unlike ogres. So it's like, hello?
I have no idea. Oh. Excuse me. But yeah, I have no idea what's going on. GW is weird like that. Also, we got some rumors about the new Imperial Guard Codex that supposedly is coming out. Supposedly we're going to be getting the missing kits, so the Hydra and the Colossus and the Medusa and all those dudes, like in like one of those kits that they make that does all of them in one type of things. There's rumor of doctrines, very similar to Space Marine Chapter Tactics, which, if that's true, I hope they give one for the Mechanicum.
Yeah.
Because I want a Skitarii Force.
Who doesn't these days, honestly?
And there's rumor that, like, Ketchin will be able to issue two orders a turn, jungle fighters will get jungle fighting and move through cover. There's rumor of a new robot unit that needs, like, an Adeptus engineer/handler to operate them, sort of like, I guess, like Gretchen units are, where they need the orc to control the Gretchen.
Right.
Type of thing. Or the Beastmaster for the Dark Eldar. And there's rumor that they're getting a Paladin Knight. It's a robot bigger than a Riptide, but smaller than a Eldar. So the Tau are going to be small, Imperial Guard are going to be medium, and the Eldar are going to be large when it comes to the robots.
Uh-huh. That's interesting, like, this, like, idea, concept. Like, let's have a hierarchy of robots.
Yes, you need to. If you're a low, if you're a player that likes his fun but wants it in small quantities type thing, you get the Riptide. If you're a dude who likes likes fun but likes a little extra spice in their fun, you get the Paladin Knight. And if you're like the type of dude who's just like needs fun by the barrelful, you get the Wraith Knight.
I guess.
Now, if only they actually played that way.
Yeah, and if you want to play someone that really doesn't look that good and doesn't make sense because you can see that leg exposed, you can play the Centurions.
Which are the child size.
Yeah, it's just, I didn't notice that until he pointed it out in the White Dwarf, which I was looking at, and I'm like, wow, the legs are exposed. What's the point of this suit?
To get shot at by the front and only the front. Latest news on the book front, Black Library is releasing 3 classic Black Library books. First and Only, Nightbringer, and Troll Slayer.
What's that gonna do?
They're just reprints of old classic books that haven't been around for a while.
Oh.
So if you missed out the first time, let's see, a new range of novels that they're doing. Discover the beginning of 3 of our most popular series. Okay, so like I think Nightbringer is supposed to be the first book in that Night Lord trilogy or something. Like these are apparently the beginnings of very popular series that Black Library has continued. And they decided to bring them back because everyone liked them so much. One's by, Nightbringer is by Graham McNeil. First and Only is Dan Abnett, which makes sense. It's a non-Space Marine book. It involves the Imperial Guard. And William King wrote Troll Slayer.
I see.
And that's basically it for all the new stuff. Oh, I'm getting a Forge World order.
What happened?
I'm getting a Forge World order.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. I'm picking up a Zone Mortalis because the set looks awesome, and it'd be nice to have new sets for other movie-esque videos for the channel.
Yeah.
And I'm picking up Fulgrim.
Nice. Everybody loves Fulgrim except those who hate him.
Yes. I just finished reading the book, Angel Exterminatus, and he was awesome.
He's definitely on the cool side of things, but I just hate him.
I think one of my big reasons for him is he knows that he done screwed up, and he knows he did terrible things, and he knows that he wasn't the one who did a good chunk of it, but he went there and went, well, there ain't no way I'm clearing my name, so I might as well just keep going with it.
Yeah. See, that's the part. See, I guess it's just that, like, wow, I done effed up. Let me really just do my own thing, but not continue down this path.
Yeah. But it's very interesting. I do like his whole story, and I think what I like about him also is he's so charismatic. Most people know that he's planning on betraying them, but they go with it anyway, and they still get betrayed.
Yeah, but it's just like, come on now.
But it's like one of those things, a lot of the time, it's like, I guess you could think of it, he always makes everyone he's partnering with perform a Dr. Doom. They have them go, he's clearly leading me to a trap. I know it's a trap. I'm going to walk headfirst into this trap to prove to him that his trap won't work. And then they're shocked that the trap works.
I never understood that logic. Like, ever. In comics, in movies, in life.
It is true. You don't really understand why it works. You just know that it does. I think it's on the forefront, at least in the whole novelization sense. It's supposed to be a representation of one's hubris and how one's hubris will always get the better of them regardless of how well they're prepared.
Yeah, but it's like, come on. It's always like the most tactically like sound, strong people are like, I'm gonna blatantly walk into a trap. And it's like, you wouldn't be doing this. What's wrong with you?
The only time where it didn't work in comics and they needed a Deus Ex Machina regardless was in Doom War. Like, Dr. Doom went out and went, this is clearly a trap. I know it's a trap. I'm going to walk headfirst into it to prove to him that their trap won't work. And he did. And their trap could not work. And so they needed stupid Deus Ex Machina to defeat him.
I never really did like the whole Deus Ex Machina thing either. It's like, come on now. Depending, I don't mind it if it's done very well, but in that book it was not done very well. It was just literally, bump, button push, I win. And you're like, how does that even work? And then they go, shadow physics, I don't need to explain how it works. Shadow physics, my butt.
That's literally what it was. The Black Panther goes up and is like, we must go into the one realm of science you were never brave enough to go into, Reed Richards. And Reed Richards is like, you're talking about shadow physics. We can't go into that realm. And you're like, what the heck is shadow physics? And they're going, the most dark and mysterious of physics that we don't even need to explain to understand how it works.
I always hated that, especially in like, how do I word it? Like, just in general, it's like, okay, the reader doesn't understand what you're talking about, but yet you're talking about it like it's all casual and we understand it.
And they use that as an excuse to never needing to explain it. Going, you don't need to explain it. That's how over the top and above us it is. Granted, chances are, there are probably some people on this channel that actually understand the whole shadow physics thing in Marvel, and if they do, feel free to enlighten us, because the more we know, the better we are. And speaking of, one person on the channel did bring up an interesting point about the Ultramarines chapter pack. They could see a gaming group or a store purchasing the Ultramarines chapter set.
Oh yeah, I mean I could see like a group gonna take care of this thing, but
I'd like to see one person do it.
Yeah, I mean my whole point is I want to see that one person who's like, I got this.
But speaking of that, that, with being the whole Forge World thing that I'm doing, what this brings up an interesting point. If you are part of a gaming group, like if you go to a gaming store often, if you're like our group here on Long Island where we have a Facebook page, that is a great place to collaborate a Forge World order, so you'll get free shipping. Yeah. Like, I went to there and I went, hey guys, I'm doing a Forge World order. If you want, let me know. I'll put in the order. I'll bring it to the game store. You guys pay me back. And if enough people order, we might be able to get free shipping. And in like a day, we already went above and beyond the free shipping requirement.
Yeah, when people hear free anything, they're like, I want this.
So if anyone out there is planning on building a Forge World order, if you want, like I said, if you really want it, it's best, ask the gaming group that you're part of. You may be able to get free shipping out of the deal, and just generally, it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, it does.
You know, it's instead of going, oh, I ordered mine, you know what, I want to order this, I'll go order mine. Why don't you just go, hey, I'm ordering this stuff in a week. If you want anything, let me know. And usually, that way everybody wins.
Yep.
And it is all goods.
Exactly.
It is all goods. And so new other thing, I finally saw the Robocop trailer.
Oh, you saw that?
Yep.
See, I have an issue.
Okay.
And it's not like it would make me stop from seeing it. It's not like it makes me hate it. Why is there one hand doesn't have a glove on it? I get it that like that's a real hand, and I guess they're showing his humanity with that hand. But come on.
I think that's supposed to be the only other piece of him that survived aside from his face.
Yeah, but you look at it this way. He's going to get stuck in a firefight. Eventually a bullet's going to hit that hand and just immobilize it. Like, he's built
that's
for
why he
combat.
uses his robot hand.
Like, he's built for combat. And, like, I'm okay with his face being horribly exposed.
Well, no, he's got the helmet.
Yeah, but he's got, like, his mouth.
Oh, he does. Well, he always had that.
Yeah, I know. I was always okay with that because, it just fit. It looked fine. It looked like it just worked. But the hand thing is like, come on, guys.
I am falling in love with the new design for Ed 209.
It is a cool design. It is very much modernized.
To be honest, I was very concerned about that when I found out about a remake. Especially when I saw the look of the new Robocop. I was like, oh, if that's the way he's gonna look, I dread how Ed 209's gonna look.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the new look is grown on me.
I don't mind the new look. I think it's pretty cool, except for the freaking hand.
What I like also is that they make fun of the old color scheme without making fun of it.
Yeah.
Like, for anyone who hasn't seen the trailer yet or something, or if you want to avoid, you may want to skip ahead a few seconds or so, but in the trailer, he is the classic black and silver when he first gets made into Robocop. And then one of the guys, some dude we don't know yet, goes, he's got to look more, militaristic, something we can package, make him black.
Yeah.
So it sounds, so it's not like he looks stupid, make him cooler.
No. But at the same time, it's make him cooler.
But it's more of a, the reasoning behind it is more so they can sell them. They want to sell this as a thing. So it makes more sense. It's less of an insult to the original, like in Clash of the Titans, where they threw in the where they threw in the owl just to say he was pointless.
Yeah, I mean, I did like that movie, but
I wasn't a fan.
I liked it. I just liked the look of things, the gigantic scorpions. That's about it. But I like what they did with RoboCop. I've always liked this classic look. I hope that they kind of still have the 4-barreled gun thing that he had.
I thought it was 2-barreled.
I don't remember. It could have been 16 barrels, but whatever it was, I hope.
No, I think it was. It was a standard gun, like in terms of its shape. The difference was when he fired, it fired 6 or 7 rounds at a time.
Well, yeah, he fired it like it was multiple. It was like a burst. I always thought it had more than one barrel. It always looked cool.
Oh yeah.
And I just hope they stick with that and not give it something more modernized,
space age, modern.
Not that it looked unrealistic before, but people always like to go super realistic with things. And I just think that the gun can still work today.
It looks like in it he's got more weapons that he's using,
which is good. It makes sense. It's like, let me just use this rocket launcher once in Robocop. It's like, really? You got a rocket launcher? You should have more things to shoot at people.
Another interesting thing I like is how he has the police badge embedded on his armor.
Yeah, I like that. It's a nice touch.
Because it's like, okay, he's a cop. Whereas before it was like, wait a minute.
This doesn't
Is he a cop? What is he?
Yeah. And speaking of movie stuff, Machete Kills comes out soonish.
Yes.
If anybody has not seen Machete, you got to. I don't care
see it.
If you hate it or not. You have to see it.
Machete was amazing, and I cannot wait for this new movie.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, Danny Trejo needs to do more things.
In the trailer, I was a little shocked to see Lady Gaga's in it.
Yes, but that kind of, I kind of find that endearing in a way. It's like, oh, Lady Gaga.
Her outfit works.
Yeah,
her outfits work. She doesn't need a wardrobe.
No, she already has that built. It's like she was training for the role.
I liked in the trailer where the dude throws a hatchet at Machete. Machete catches it and then just throws it back at him.
Yes. Machete was just a fun movie. Clearly, if people take it too seriously, they don't understand it.
It's the same person who couldn't understand the Expendables.
Yeah, right.
Like, if you really just sit there and go, I can't take this seriously, then it's like, this is not a film for you.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? This is a movie for fun and profit.
This is profit. Step 1, make movie. Step 2, Step 3, profit.
Exactly. So, yeah, but I'm just looking forward to that. And
there's new Thor.
Yeah, the new Thor
coming out.
Is kind of cool. Well, not the new Thor movie looks cool, I should say.
Yeah. The Thor looks good, and I found out that Christopher Eccleston is the Dark Elf in it.
Oh yeah.
Yep. He was the first Doctor in the new Doctor Who series.
Gotcha. I know nothing about that stuff.
You should. No, you don't need to. It's okay.
It's alright.
Let's see, is there anything else going on that I could think of? There's not much. In terms of ways of new things going on. We could talk a little bit about this. We posted an article about one of the greatest anti-cheese moments that I've ever read in gaming in Warhammer 40k.
Oh yeah?
For anyone who didn't read, there's this gentleman, I believe he plays a White Scars army, and he rigs his force, he always puts everything in his army in reserve. His plan is he puts everything in reserve, lets the other dudes set up his army force, and then on his turn, he deploys his army in a spearhead position and attacks the weakest point of the force, and through this tends to gain the advantage and wipe out the other dude.
Which is a tactically sound move and very White Scar-y.
But I could have sworn in New Age you couldn't do that. You had to have at least one thing on the field on turn 1, or else you
I don't remember exactly. I think it depends on the what's the word I'm looking for? The mission a little bit in terms of setting up, and it might require. It might be something with regards to the army. I forget exactly what they can do.
Yeah, because I could have sworn there was something where you needed to have at least one thing deployed.
I don't remember exactly. I mean, there might have been. It all depends. It might be something. I forget what the White Scars can do as far as being special. So.
So with that, so this one guy who was at this tournament, he knew this guy's plan. And so he sets up his board, and the one guy goes, I'm going in reserve. He's like, okay. And so then he sets his scouts for infiltrating, and he's allowed to basically put his scouts anywhere on the board because because there's nobody on the field.
Yeah.
So he places them in a line across the dude's deployment zone with no more than 30 centimeters between them.
Yeah.
The game starts and he goes, I won. And the guy goes, what do you mean? He's like, you can't move past a unit, there's a certain distance you're not allowed to be near a dude when you're an enemy model when you're passing through, so your guys can't get on the board, you're stuck perpetually in reserve, thus I win because I control the board. And the judges for the game, for the tournament, are like, his understanding of the rules is technically correct. He wins. And there's a picture now of the guy. He's just sitting there smiling while the guy who lost is thumbing through a rulebook trying to find a loophole around what just happened.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. And it's great that someone was able to figure that out.
Yeah. I don't know the specifics of the not having anybody on the board thing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you can't do it now because I think there's a rule you can only put up to half of your force in reserve, except for units that are in a device that need to be. So, like, if you put half of your force in reserve and then you have, like, 6 drop pods with dudes in them, those dudes can be in the drop pods because the drop pods don't count towards that number.
I see. Well, I don't know. I have to double check with the whole only half because, for example, if you have stuff that can scout or infiltrate that lets you outflank now.
Yep.
If you have the ability to outflank with your entire army, then I don't see a reasoning where you can't.
Yeah, that would be something I have to double check on, but I could have sworn that was a rule. Like, you had to have at least, you could only put, unless you have, like, again, drop pods don't count towards it and such, but you have to have half your dudes on the field. But I could be wrong.
Right.
Entirely. Horribly wrong. Terribly wrong. Insultingly wrong. Annoyingly wrong. Thank you, Elena.
But this is just another thing that I just want to say. If it was Ravenwing, it would have been like, that's cool, I outflank.
Yeah.
And I put him in reserve for outflanking purposes. Do what you will. And I still win.
That's why drop pods.
Yeah, drop pods. Well, if you're a biker,
yep.
You know what's weird?
Yeah, outflank.
Just speaking of that real quick. Apparently, people yet again are unhappy with the Dark Angels Codex.
Well, because the Space Marine Codex came out.
Yeah, but it's like nothing really happened that's groundbreaking except Centurions, and well, who needs those?
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, I think. Now, I could be wrong. I don't have the Codex with me. I think the tactical squads traded the ability for a plasma cannon to get grav weapons. I think a plasma cannon is better than a grav weapon, to be honest.
Well, from what I heard, these grav weapons, and I'll know when I eventually get the book, is that they have a pretty cool use. But like I said, I have no idea.
The one thing is we still don't have Vanguard veterans, but we don't really need them.
Right.
and everyone's going, the White Scars out Ravenwing now. And I was like, I don't know if they out Ravenwing the Ravenwing, per se.
Right, and I don't... there was never really a competition between that.
And the only other thing that I think everyone's upset about is that we don't get chapter doctrines.
So, we have Dark Angel.
Yeah.
That's our chapter doctrine. In the book.
We got Grim Resolve. All of our armies, all of our dudes have Grim Resolve, man.
Yeah,
we're
and like...
fear. We get They Shall Know No Fear, and they get another ability with that.
Yeah, hold on, give me a second, I'm gonna go check something real quick on that.
Yeah, because they get, Grim Resolve gives them, and Grim Resolve gets them, I think, they get the thing where they auto-pass morale checks. And something. I don't remember what it is. To save my life. I can't remember.
I don't know, you keep rambling on, I'm gonna check something real quick on that. I'll be right back.
So, I guess I'll continue talking about this whole Dark Angel thing. I personally don't see a reason to think the Dark Angel's Codex stinks now. You know, nothing about it. I've never been in a scenario where I went, gee, I wish my army had this. Anytime I play an army, it just tends to be my tactics are horribly horrible. So that's where I usually suffer from. And it has nothing to do with the Codex being bad.
What's that?
I'm not going to repeat it.
Good, because I thought I brought the White Dwarf back with me with the stuff I did. So
I'll just sub up it. Basically, of just saying I may not do well with the Dark Angels, but I don't blame that on my Codex. I blame that on my horrible tactitional ability.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't if you're not doing well in a game, or if you just find yourself not performing as best as you thought, you shouldn't jump automatically to the Codex. Sometimes it just takes getting used to the Codex, or just getting a rhythm.
Yes.
But I thought I had one of the White Dwarfs here. I don't. So I was gonna because it had like this new Space Marine stuff in it with regards to the grab weapons, but.
I see. But, no, I don't see... Yeah, it does seem to be a pattern. Also, everyone's upset about the, Chaos Marines again.
They'll be fine.
Chaos Marines aren't bad. I mean, they still have the Helldrake.
Yeah, and they still have Marine ability. I don't understand what people don't get about that.
I guess the issue is foremost, the army is in a really big synergy army, and I think that's hurting some people's ability to play the army, because it's so based on using each unit individually to their strengths and not trying to collaborate them with other parts of the army to create something.
Right.
Because, like with Space Marines, okay, we have the Devastator squads here, they're gonna do this while this unit takes care of that part of them for them, and everything works together, and everyone complements and takes care of everybody else's weaknesses and such. Whereas with Chaos, they really don't work that way.
Well, not directly.
Yeah.
But, hey, I'm good at anti-tank, and you're good at anti-infantry, and if the player plays us in synergy, we'll work well together. It's like, that's how it works.
But I feel like with the Chaos Codex, it's built in more of every unit is got like this, every man for himself kind of set up for them type of thing, where it's like the units are work fine by themselves, and they may not particularly gel well with another unit, but they don't need to.
Okay, right. But it's just like people, and not every codex has the ability to just automatically gel well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the other issue may be, and I can agree to this to some point, for an army that's supposed to be delving deeper into darker forms of technology and essentially developing newer and crazier tech, a lot of their stuff seems very generic and bland in terms of their arsenal.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like when I see them, like the only real thing they have now are the demon forges, and I was like, wouldn't they like have created some new form of bolter or something to make them, you know, infused with demons or something to try and give themselves an advantage, not use the exact same bolter they used 12 millennia ago?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's one thing that I kind of am like with that. It seems like for an army that they constantly talk about delving into new tech and going into parts unknown for unholy power, they don't seem to reflect that well in their war gear.
Yeah. But that's what I've always thought, that kind of be the thing of the chaos. It's like, again, like you were saying before, the whole what's the word I'm looking for?
Synergy?
Yeah. Like the whole, like, not so much synergy, but the whole, what's the word? Almost, words escape me. Like almost like irony thing.
Okay.
Of like, oh, they're chaos, they're so chaotic, but yet they're so static.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Which is like kind of the same thing with other armies. Like, oh, they're so this, but yet they're not.
Hmm. Speaking of that stuff, I don't think we mentioned yet, we have a new Primarch.
Yeah, Ferrus
in the Forge World line, who looks gorgeous.
They did him well. He's definitely one of those Primarchs that I could definitely see people not liking the look of.
But what I really think is really awesome about him is his complimentary pose to Fulgrim.
Yeah, no, it's great that they actually went with the whole mini diorama thing there.
Apparently, the model developer said that he actually modeled both of them at the same time. He just put Ferrus to the side to finish Fulgrim because of which books they were going to be in. But he looks gorgeous, and it was actually through seeing the new Ferrus Manus model that I discovered a lot of people didn't like the Fulgrim look.
They didn't like the Fulgrim look.
Yeah, I was reading the Bell of Lost Souls forums when they were showing off the pictures of Ferrus Manus, who I liked the paint job for.
Yeah.
And I liked the idea that because of where Ferrus Manus comes from, they wanted the model to look mechanical, like so you see all the cogs and pistons that make the armor move and all that. A lot of people were commenting, wow, now the Ferrus Manus model totally makes the Fulgrim pose look so much better and look less stupid, blah, blah, blah. And, like, apparently a lot of people didn't like the way Fulgrim was posed.
I like the dynamicness.
I liked it, too. I mean, it looks more like you get an idea of what he's doing better with the Ferrus Manus model, but I think by itself it's still a pretty sick looking pose. I kind of like it better than Angron, to be honest.
I like Angron's pose a lot. Fulgrim's pose is pretty good. I think they're doing pretty well with the posing for capturing the Primarch.
Yeah.
For all.
Let's see, for Angron, I think, you know what I think it is? I think it's more, the way his arms are. It doesn't, to me, I can't see how he's swinging those axes to get the dudes to fall the way that they're falling. And I don't like how high he is, how high he's holding one of the axes on the handle.
Gotcha.
Like, it's just the way it's posed, like, I cannot picture in my mind, usually with these models, I can usually, like, imagine the motion that the model's going to make that pose, and for Angron, I'm having trouble doing that.
Gotcha.
One thing that I hope is I hope they do this diorama thing as well for Russ and Magnus and Lion and Nightlord.
Yeah.
And if they do, I'll probably have to get them all just to get those dioramas. But those are two that I'm looking forward to, and here's a question, actually. Which Primarch are you most looking forward to, and what kind of posing display would you like to see them in?
Like, for one Primarch or a diorama?
For a Primarch.
The Primarch I'm looking forward to seeing? Well, of course I want to see the Lion.
Obviously.
Just because I'm interested to see how they're going to do him as far as armor goes. Because, to be honest, most of the other Primarchs, there's been enough imagery for them that I kind of understand what they look like. If that makes any sense.
Surprisingly, I think the only other Primarch to have as little illustration is Ferrus. I think he only has 3.
Yeah, he doesn't have much, but since they already did him, they captured him very well. Like,
yeah.
He was one of the ones that doesn't have much imagery to him. And while the Lion is described a bit, to me, it always felt a little bit ambiguous.
Yes, I will agree with that.
So I would like to see what they would do with him and how they would pose him. But, because Magnus, I think everybody has a very clear picture of how he looks.
Yeah. The one thing I've always been confused on is how his eye thing worked.
Well, he has 2 normal eye sockets. One's just covered over in flesh.
Okay.
Like he has a normal head look. It's just that one eye isn't there. It's covered over.
Okay.
Yeah. He's not a literal Cyclops.
Yes.
But while I'm really interested to see the Lion, I kind of have a confident enough idea in my head of how they would do him. The 2 that I really like to see done posing-wise would be Korax or the Night Haunter, because I think they can have some really awesome poses.
Alright. I know for me, when it comes to the Lion, the one thing that I'd want to have on him is a cold, calculating expression to depict the ability that he's constantly how, when in battle, he's thinking of how to drop said person.
Right.
And I think I don't want every single Primarch to have a battle scream face type of thing.
Right.
In terms of Primarchs that I'm very interested to see, aside from the obvious, that would have to be... That, I'd have to say, is probably... I'd be very curious to see the Alpha Legion's Primarch. And see how they go off with that.
That would be interesting considering the fluff of them.
Yeah. And I probably would want to have it where, essentially what I probably would like to see them do is have them both in like a fairly similar pose, but have them where, when they're lined up just right, they look like one person.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait a minute, where does the one person end and where's the one person begin type of thing. That would be, I think, a really cool setup for that dude, is if they did that. Sort of like in the movie The Labyrinth. If you ever watch, there's one scene where there's a rock that's a face. But as the camera pans, you discover that it's not a rock that's looked like a face. It's a bunch of oddly shaped rocks that when looked on dead ahead, they make a face. But they're like 5 or 6 of them spread out behind each other. And they just, when you look at them by themselves, they don't look like anything. And that's something I think would be really cool, is if they had the 2 Primarchs done in such a way that when you line them up just right, they make one person. They look like one dude.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
And with that, Fearless Gamers, I would like to know which Primarch you're looking forward most to, and what kind of posing or display or posing of them you would like to see with them. And Korax would be interesting. I would probably be more interested in Night Lord because he's the one who has lightning claws.
Well,
Do they both have lightning claws?
Korax originally had lightning claws. They were broken, and then he got them fixed.
Okay.
And Night Haunter has lightning claws. I just think both, without having the screaming heads, could have very cool dynamic poses if done right. That won't be lame. And I think because they're very dynamic in their fighting, being lightning clawed and everything.
Yeah. And here's a question. Aside from the lion, does any other Primarch have a helmet?
I think they all do. It's just a matter of using it or not.
Because I know the lion has a helmet because we've seen it in game.
Yeah.
But I've never actually, the books that I've read, I've never seen any of them have one. You know what we also, speaking of that, you know what would be also a really cool Primarch that I can't wait to see? Sanguinius.
Yes.
Because of just the angel wing thing, that thing would look awesome.
Yeah, it would. I mean, he would be another really cool looking model to have. I don't know. It's tough to pick one, even though I'm a big fan of the lion, because there are very cool looking Primarchs out there. I'd also like to see Perturbo.
Perturbo. Now, that's going to be interesting. Seeing Ferrus Manus, do we already know what Perturbo's hammer is going to look like, since it's supposed to be the same hammer? Or are they going to make it Perturbo before he gets the hammer?
I don't know. Perturbo has they're not the same hammer at that point. At the point in time they were.
Yeah, it's the, Perturbo gets Forgebreaker after, Ferrus Manus dies. Horus gives it to him.
Right, but he also has, this other hammer that he was given by Horus.
Huh. I totally thought he had the one and the gauntlet cannon thing.
I forget the name. Doesn't he have... Hold on.
With the power of the internet.
What was the hammer that Ferrus Manus had?
Ferrus Manus has had the Forgebreaker.
Right. Forgebreaker. I could have sworn that he was given. I could have sworn he had another one. But he does have he was given Forgebreaker. I know that much.
Yeah. Let's see. Iron Warrior.
Because Forgebreaker was originally made by Fulgrim for Ferrus Manus.
Yeah. And then Perturbo was given it.
I thought he had a demon hammer also.
Let's see.
But I could be wrong.
Let's see. Origin. I think on the wiki there is a list of his weaponry that he has. Let's see. Traits, personality, war gear, Artificer Terminator armor, Forgebreaker, wrist-mounted combi bolter, and Tormentor, which is a shadow sword.
Yeah. Well, I thought he had another one before that. This could be like, I don't want to say a retcon, but a change.
Forge rolled was the length of a deals to resist. Following the death of Ferrus on the hands of Fulgrim, presented the weapon to Perturbo as a symbolic gesture of the Iron Warrior's newfound alliance to the War Master rather than the Emperor. He might have used a hammer beforehand, but it might have been a very, because there is a couple of pictures with him with just a plain hammer. He may have just had a hammer.
Yeah, I just
that
remember
wasn't anything fancy.
Something about a hammer with him before, what's the word? Before this, that was named, and supposedly a demon-y hammer that he used to basically do stuff, but they might have done a slight retcon thing for that.
Possibly, or they may have switched it where when he became a demon prince, that's what happened to Forgebreaker.
Maybe. Who knows what they did. But
who knows? GW keeps changing everything. Because wasn't the Alpha Legion Primarch originally one Primarch and now it's two?
Well, the Alpha Legion Primarch was originally super secret. We knew next to nothing about him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I believe that's what they wanted to do from the beginning anyway, so they were glad that it went with that route.
Okay. Let's see. Anything else?
Oh, here we go.
We want to talk about? Oh, you found something.
Well, damn it. That's not it. But, I do want to say, being a gamer, we all enjoy games. We've talked before about the Warhammer Online MMO that kind of failed. It's closing. Yeah, they're closing that. The BattleTech, the online BattleTech game, Mech Warrior Online, I believe it. I don't know if it has launched already, but the last email I got from them saying they were launching.
Nice.
So I believe that's something to check into. And Ultima Online is still around, people. It's still around, going strong, and it's really, if you really enjoy building a character up and not just leveling up by hitting something with a stick and that gets your magic up, but actually enjoy like using the skill to raise it, it's a good game.
Yeah. Isn't that supposed to be getting a remodel or something?
It did already. They offer two versions, which again I think is pretty cool. They have the classic 2D client, which I'm a bigger fan of. And they have this like enhanced version, which is kind of like a 3DS, still the same viewpoint, top down, kind of like a strategy game viewpoint, but with more 3D and more traditional, more classic modern MMO stuff.
Okay, interesting. Let's see. Oh, there was something else. Did you hear what Nintendo's doing with the new Nintendo Wii Fit U?
Nope.
They are, if you haven't had a chance playing Wonderful 101, it is so good. It is frustratingly good. Like, we were playing the game, and we were like, it took us an hour to beat Easy B mission. They do like this multiplayer thing where you play 3 missions and at the end you play like a boss battle and then you get a score. Well, we did Easy A and we went through it like, okay, and then we got to Easy B and it took us an hour to beat Easy B with 3 people.
I see.
And it was like, no, we are beating this. We are not leaving this room until we defeat this. But anyway, let's see. The new Wii Fit game that they're doing is on November 1st to January 31st. You can get a free 1-month demo of the game.
Okay.
And it's the full game. It's not one of these, half games or part of the game. It's the full enchilada. Well, at the same time, they're releasing a new pedometer that connects with the game and does a bunch of pretty cool features. So if you're a big health nut, this seems pretty interesting. But if you buy the pedometer for $20, go home and sync it to your Wii Fit U demo, the game becomes permanently unlocked for you forever.
Nice.
So you get the game for $20, which is ridiculous.
That's always good.
Yep. And Mighty Number 9 hit its stretch goal for current gen and the Wii U consoles, because technically Wii U's not a current gen. And let's see, it just hit another stretch goal. Though the combination is in PayPal donations, comes officially via the Minus Facebook page, another stretch goal has been reached. By Number Time has now secured over $2.4 million in funding, which means that the game will be featuring a special challenge mode. Up next, an extra stage and boss fight at $2.55 million. An online co-op mode will be added at $2.75 million. Following with a pair of mysterious awards, and finally, until more goals are added to this, Xbox One and PS4 versions will be made at $3.3 million. So they're not that far off.
That's good.
It's really good, and it looks really interesting, and if this game happens, then Capcom can probably kiss itself goodbye. Because right now, apparently, they only have enough money for 3 AAA titles. And then after that, they have nothing.
Gotcha.
And there was something else in the video game world. Oh! Grand Theft Auto came out. In 4 days, it generated like over $2 million in sales in 4 days. Something like that. It was either $2 million or $2 billion, I forget which, but it just, in 4 days, it produced a ridiculous amount of money.
You know, there's a significant difference between the two values, but yeah. Apparently it was like ridiculously popular.
Oh yeah. And me personally, I don't see the appeal.
I never was
I'm not a fan. Yeah, no, neither was I. I was like, it's a game. Like, it never left a huge impact on me where I was like, I must buy every copy of this game.
Yeah, me either. To be honest, the first couple ones were just top-down views, like in the beginning. I like those the best.
The only one I ever played was Vice City. And I didn't even play it, I just ran around to see how fast I could get a 5-star wanted rank. And then when I was bored, hit the cheat code for a tank. Because it's a tank.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, do you have anything else to add before we wrap this up?
Nah. I think we covered most things. If any of you Fearless Gamers have played Ultima Online, leave a comment. I'm just curious. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's on its 16th year now.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah. So.
And if you guys have a particular Primarch that you're waiting for Forge World to produce, let us know which one and what kind of look you're hoping for in terms of their posing. And also, just a one last announcement, Star Wars X-Wing miniature game, Wave 3 is now out, so you can get the Lambda Shuttle, the B-Wing, the TIE Bomber, and the Hawk. So, if you're interested, check them out. I just picked up the B-Wing myself. Hopefully, maybe some other time, I'll get another video of us playing the game, in using the full rules this time, and not the quick start rules. And so, that is all I can think of for today. So, thank you all for listening. As always, we always greatly appreciate it.
Exactly.
And if you haven't, subscribe, like us, leave a comment. Even if it's, you can ask us questions, we do answer them. And also, to answer a question someone did ask us on the Facebook channel, we are looking into getting these podcasts downloadable. We're looking into one site right now. It would allow us to probably put up 3 at a time, so it would be one of these things where you could get them for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks and then they'd be gone. We're looking to see if there's a better option out there before we jump into this one. So, look for that on the horizon, and pretty soon will be our 2-year anniversary. So that's coming up soon, and again, until next time, Fearless Gamers, this is Matt the Bet.
And James the Wildcard.
Saying take care.
Peace.